Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, and it is my delight and honor to bring this episode of Life's Milkshake Moment. Do you believe that we're at the end of 2024? I said at the very beginning, there'll be more in store in 2024. And if you hear with your heart, you hear in your mind, and you act about what this iconic woman is bringing to our show today, be spot on. There was more in store in 2024. For those of you who don't know me, welcome to Life's Milkshake Moment, where we say life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, and when you do, life will be oh so sweet. And how sweet can your life be? Because you fill it with all 6 pillars. What I've been talking about and living and espousing to be with you in my 47 years of being a health coach and holistic nutritionist, spiritual, mental, then emotional. We're going to be talking about the emotional pillar today with Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. But then you go into not only that, but the physical, financial, and social. You can't have it all. Those 6 pillars will bring you in their foundations everything that you need now because you live in the present. Les Brown always said, it is necessary for you to do what only you can do. Believe that your life depends on it, because it does, especially during these times of uncertainty. Going into a new year, we leap forward to a new year. This was a leap year. That's something very, very special energetically, but we leap forward to newness and possibilities, but we do it with tenacity, persistence, and resilience. Learning from the past, embracing that, but coming into the present so you can look forward to your future. I always say that hope stands for just go and heal yourself from the inside. Only you can do what you can do. Then go up in opportunity to your true north. Come in and be the law of attraction. Just not do it, but be and live the law of attraction, that positivity, and then you go out in empowerment. That's what Dr. Jacqueline Mohair does. That's who she is. That's how she lives. You know, those certain 1%ers that just live that way. I was graced with these 47 years of being a health coach and a practitioner, nutritionist in that brick and mortar building. And I remember Les Brown saying to me during COVID, I'm going, I guess I'm getting back into this. As my husband said to me, Jody, just how much yoga in retirement are you going to do? And I embraced the fact that I needed to come in and give healing, help, and hope in the health sector. I've done it for these many years, 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat lost with my client patient base over those 47 years. 35,000 clients came through my doors and they wanted healing. They wanted hope. It will begin with you today in this emotional pillar, because I always said that transformation is an inside job. That means that healing and hope will depend on this. It depends on you. But then what does it mean to go ahead and do that thing that you're embracing to do? Just do it anyway. Do it now, do it anyway, and do it on purpose. That's what Dr. Jacqueline Mohair is. You'll be hearing a little bit about her after this commercial break, but I just want to say, when have you ever seen somebody who's an advocate? Not only is she an advocate for the underclass, Africa, Zimbabwe, children over there. She lives on purpose, with purpose, a business and life strategist, life coach minister, and an ambassador, just to name a few. But let's take a look for somebody who lives on purpose with a purpose. I just left him down in South Florida, not only the one and only Dr. Jim Marinakis. However, this man with a plan absolutely Personal Performance Institute is where it works for him. It's where it works for all of us who say yes to him, that revere him, and just honor him in so many ways. Let's take a look, take a listen. Dr. James Marinakis.
It's about time.
World-renowned homeopath, naturopath, acupuncture physician, and facilitator of the process. Presenting Dr. Jim Marinakis.
It's about time, it's about changes, and it's about time.
And really, it's about time, as he said, my partner. This is when destiny meets opportunity, when you're prepared. When he came and said to me after studying with him so many years, and he said, Jody, will you be my partner? We were sitting and having breakfast this morning, and I thought, look at where we've come. Look at where we've gone. Look at what we've been able to do. Because you said to me, I think we need to go into partnership now, embracing our second year together. I just wanted to give you that little snippet before we look at what he does with Peak Performance International, because it is your time. It is about time. Let's hear.
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough, they don't get enough nutrients, they accumulate way too much stress, they don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
PPI International. And I will say that Vital Essence, one of the amazing products that Dr. Jim and I had the honor of bringing to COVID during this time, has made a difference in countless people's life. You can check that out if you go to drjod.com, click the health tab, and that's what I know it can and will make a difference for you. But I know what's going to make a difference for you today. Dr. Jacqueline Mohair, a friend of a friend of a friend, Dr. Nefertina Serrano, you are the queen of connection. You did it again. You connected Dr. Jacqueline and I. She said, here, fill this paper out. The next thing you know, my husband and I were at Chateau Elan this time last year in December. You've seen the pictures on Facebook. I'm going to do a big foray, because what I know about Dr. Jacqueline Mohair, she didn't have to be at what we were doing. She took on her husband's role, her role, because she just steps in to what she has to do. She is the epitome of peak performance, but she does it with passion. As I said, she's an advocate. She's a humanitarian minister, life coach. When I asked her, what exactly is it, the Trinity School of Business? It's TIUA. She said, oh, no, I have 3 schools. Who has 3 schools and do all that? Well, it's a woman that lives with passion and purpose, on purpose. Here is my princess with the beautiful green hat. That's what it's all about. Dr. Jacqueline, my goodness, thank you for being and honoring us with this amazing, amazing finale for 2024 Life's Milkshake Moments.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Joe D. Beer, for the opportunity to be here. I count it all joy to be here in your presence. You are a woman of true essence that are doing great things yourself. So I'm just honored to be in your presence today.
So let's just exponentially head us out of this new year. There was more in store in 24, but we can always decide to strive and thrive in 2025. And I know you've done that with passion, Dr. Jacqueline. I just know this without really knowing you, but knowing your essence. And so what was that first thing that came in that you just said, I'm living life out, besides the fact that you probably said it the day you were born?
Well, you know what, Dr. Jody Beer, when you come to a realization that this is the breath that God has given you, and he said that he made this day and we are to rejoice and be glad in it. And I'm talking about come to the realist of knowing the true essence of the day. I think the
Yes.
older I get, I begin to really understand that. About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and only to see God's hand move. One doctor saw it, the next doctor said it was not there, and I believe God's word is not there. But that moment, I knew that, it's important for us to live and to live life to the fullest. No man knows the day or the hour, but to live it to the fullest and just be grateful. Just be
Yes.
grateful. So I count it all joy when God connects the dots with other individuals such as yourself. It means that it was a preordained
Yes.
moment from heaven for us to meet. And in that moment, God has a purpose and a plan. So it's not just happenstance, a circumstance that we hear. It was all preordained. So I'm excited to be here. And it's time to live life to the fullest.
That's why they call it the present, because it is a gift. I
Yes.
can truthfully say that, to me, I love acrostics. Essence stands for excellence, a
Mm-hmm.
sense of success, enthusiasm, a knowing, but I put it in an N because I just like that knowing. We just forgot the K. And every
Right.
day you do that. You do that. I did not know that we were part of we had the diagnosis. As Les says, our
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis is not our prognosis.
No, it's
And
not.
here we are. We win, we win. And so when you got that diagnosis and
Mm-hmm.
they told and you chose, what was your defining moment that I choose life? And how did you make that next step? People always ask me that question. Jody, how did you do it? How did you make that next step? And I said, one foot in the other. What is your answer to that, Jacqueline?
You said it, one foot at a time, right? Taking one step at a time. But truthfully, it was me making a decision to really stand on the word of God
Yes.
and being around people that could speak life into me versus negativity or doubt. So really
Yes.
standing on that foundation, I think that was the moment when a pastor came to the ministry and he really spoke into my life. It was something that
Life.
hit that said, when it just hit, and it hit differently. And I started decreeing over my life, I should live and not die and confess the words of the Lord. God, your power is greater than this, and really believing the word of God and standing on the word. I think that was really the major shift for me.
Mm.
Just changing my environment, surrounding myself with people that were true believers, not just hearing the word and denying the power of, but being around people that were sold out to the true essence of God's word. And that in
Yes.
itself helped me. And it helps me to this day to just stand and know. And if we can really get that deep down in our spirit, man, that the word will not return void, it's going to do everything that it is sent out to do. And
Yes.
trusting and truly believing God, when we have that faith of a mustard seed, do you know how small as that seed is? It is very, very tiny,
Can
but yet
hardly
it
even see
grows
it.
up. You can hardly even see it, and it grows into this massive tree.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I'm just on a whole nother level right now, Dr. Joe. Just really trusting and believing God for some awesome things that only He can do.
Well, and true and true. I mean, 6 things in your life. I could have you on here for 3 hours, but I promise you I won't. I mean, so we know the minister came in. You're an advocate, an
Mm-hmm.
advocate and humanitarian. When did you start serving the underserved? Because I will say, because you are an author, I was just so happy you said yes. Because we just
Okay.
needed one more person. I knew, because that foundation, that number 4, in numbers and numerology is a foundational number. And you were our 40th author. I was so
Wow.
happy. And, does she know how to write? Well, she's a publisher. She has her own publishing company. Of course she knows how to write. And it was just gooey. And I read this, I'm going, ooh, fabulous, because that is just you. That's that passion. But being an advocate for the underserved, I'm just going to put this up on our book. We are still number 75,982 now in Kindle. Do you know how many billions
Wow.
of books on Kindle there are? You're going to be coming to New York with us. My goodness gracious, you can get an autographed copy if you just go to drjody.com, or you can go and get it with a and go to the website right here. When it's so wonderful when I have my assistant, but right now my assistant is, or you could just go to Amazon and go to amazon.com. And you can pick up, it is a wonderful gift. Why? Because we are serving the underserved. These children in Hurricane Helene are still homeless. They're living in tents. It's cold in North Carolina. It's been cold in Georgia where you've lived. And so it will go about that in just a moment when we get back. So grab yourself a copy, grab it for a girlfriend who, if you gave her the book, you'd never see it back. And then tell her to do as well, because we were able to write a big fat check to feedthechildren.org because of this. But Jacqueline, when did you decide that the underserved were so important to you?
Well, Dr. Joe, this is nothing that is new to me. Growing up, my parents did it. So it was something that was always instilled in me to do that. And it's something that I enjoy doing. It's a calling, if you will, that I know that the Lord has placed on my life, a special outreach anointing, to be able to go out to the masses. And like I said, for me, it's not a duty. It's a love. It's a joy. It's innate. It's something that I love to do regardless. In fact, half the stuff, or what I say, more than half the stuff, we don't even put on social media, because it's not about that. It's about, for me, it's about fulfilling purpose and helping those that are in need. And if you've never been hungry, you wouldn't know what it's like to be hungry. So I've been hungry. I've been in some situations, but I believe all of that prepared me to be a vessel to be used by God to do, and to be able to assist and help those that are in need.
Well, and when you give back and you give on purpose with purpose, it always fulfills our Heavenly Father's purpose every single time. And I will say one of our sponsors does just that, is our beautiful, beautiful Renee Brown. She's an Essence of a Woman author. She's a Healthopedia author. She and Michael Brown, during this time, I just like to check in and make sure she's still breathing. They have the largest natural and organic addiction center west of the Mississippi, east of California. But they've taken it to one other level, that it's next recovery, then next recovery housing, because a lot of recovered addicts just end up being homeless. But now they've taken it to their next company. If they weren't busy enough, it is Medical Mindshare, that will allow an integrative approach to not only health and wellness, but just empowerment. Let's take a look, take a listen to the next greatest thing by Renee and Michael Brown.
From the well-known brands of Next Level Recovery and Sober Living Properties, Michael and Renee Brown present Medical Mindshare. Medical Mindshare has been designed to deliver integrative care and precision medicine throughout the community. Discover a more personalized path to wellness. Some people might ask, why is integrative care up and coming medically? Our answer is that integrative care can be tailored to your specific needs and goals. Integrative care considers mindfulness as a modality and many other alternative therapies amongst traditional medicine. Another feature of Medical Mindshare is enhanced recovery and rapid healing. It's always at the forefront of our mind so that you can experience accelerated healing and a reduction of symptoms. Contact us today to schedule a consultation.
And the reason that I wanted to play their ad, because they're just ridiculously busy serving. However, Medical Mindshare is a non-for-profit that serves the underserved to be well. What a way to elevate humanity. And you certainly have done this. When I read your chapter in our book, like I said, it just came in a flash, but you're a publisher. How did you, I just want to cover this before we get into your chapter. How did you just say, I'm going to be a publisher? How did that happen? It's like the instant joy that comes with Dr. Jacqueline. I really think that's your life.
Well, let me say this, Doctor. Being that I grew up in a rural area, in the area that I grew up in, we had some good teachers and some teachers not as good as others. And what I mean by that is that being in the rural area of where I'm from, our education, we did not get the best of the education, if you will, considered to other parts in the rural area of Mississippi. So when it
Oh,
came to writing, I thought I knew how to write until I went to college. Then I learned I didn't know how to write, right? And it wasn't until I started working on my master's that I began to really write. So there was somewhat of a fear there because of from where I was coming from.
sure.
And one of the pastors challenged me to write a book about 17 years ago. And it was about the entrepreneur spirit. And so
Wow.
from
He knew
there, I
you.
began,
He knew you. He knew
right.
you.
So I began to write. And to my amazement, I began to enjoy and to like it. And so from there, the desire to be a self-publisher, to help others, it was born like
Yes.
16, 17 years ago. But prior to that, I was running from speaking. I was running from writing. You know, the
You're just
fear,
gonna-
all the fears, all the things that block and stop us from pushing past to get to that next level. But I'm so grateful to God that I did push past, and now here we are today.
Well, and frankly, I do know that everything, as somebody said, everybody said at least one of these. And if I remember who they are, that's great. If not, fine too. But everything you want is on the other side of fear. And it
Hmm.
really is
Hmm.
false evidence appearing real. Look, fear not. Look at how many things about fear, and you did it. And that just, you absolutely personify your quote, embracing resilience and purpose. That is in your book. So why did, with everything that you have going on, you could have said, no, I got it. Thank you, Dr. Jody, but I'm going to have to pass on this opportunity of writing. Why did you say yes?
Well, number one, I said yes. Dr. Sereno called and she said, I know you're busy, but you have got to take a look at this. And Doctor, she spoke very highly of you, and I said, you
Oh,
know what, I will do this book. In spite of the challenges and all that I had going on, I was determined to do the book. I love the title, "The Essence of a Woman,"
it is pretty.
and it
Notice
is.
I have a bookmark. It's pink. Who do we see here? Who do we see here on page 143 in numerology and in these in numbers? You put those numbers all together. Guess what? 143 stands for 8. It's the motivating
Wow,
number. Does that fit? There.
wow, wow,
Mm, yes, ma'am.
wow, wow. Stands for 8, new beginnings.
New beginnings, motivation, and whatever. And I love that you talked about emotional intelligence. So many people in the emotional pillar. And remember, if you don't have the
Mhm.
book, go get the book. Get it for your friend who doesn't buy it, because it's 1 out of 5 children go hungry. Not in, and we're going to talk about Zimbabwe, in the United States of America. When you buy this book and
Mhm.
get another for a friend, it will feed one child for a week. If you find 3 other friends, it'll feed them for a month. We keep this ripple effect. We'll be out in a tidal wave to Zimbabwe. That's my vision. That is my vision. So tell us a little bit, but then you're not going to tell too much because they got to buy the book about emotional intelligence. I believe you've got a master's degree. You've got so many degrees. Don't you have a degree in that? Yes, I had read that.
I
So
do.
tell us
I do.
about it. Yes.
Yes, I do. I have a master's in educational leadership and then a doctorate in business administration, so a DBA, as well as honors. But the chapter that I spoke about is more on emotional intelligence. And I talk about 5 key points:
Yes.
self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills, which, all of these things are important, Dr. Joe. All of these
Yes.
things are
Yes.
important. Self-awareness, it involves understanding our own emotions. And if we don't understand our emotions, we end up, it creates a whole nother will, if you will, of things. You end up making all bad decisions out of your emotions. So we have to stop, breathe, and understand our own emotions and recognize those things that are triggers that will cause us to react in certain ways. So, self-awareness, again, understanding your own emotions, your strength, your weakness, knowing what your values are and what are your drivers. And it's important for us as women to be able to know that, to be able to utilize that as a tool, if you will, for both our personal and professional settings. It's very important. And then the self-regulation, which is the ability to control or redirect these
Yeah.
disruptive emotions. So I talk a little bit about that, not being impulsive. In fact, the Bible tells us don't be anxious for anything. And if you
Yes.
find yourself in that situation to where you are anxious, you are bound to make a decision that you wish you never would have made, right? There's a reason he tells us don't be anxious for anything. So having that self-regulation, that self-control, knowing your emotions and not react impulsively, and then being motivated. That
Yes.
motivation, it involves a passion for work that goes beyond money and status. That goes back to when I told you about, you talked about what got me involved and the love I have for the community. Well, those are things that were innate, from a kid on up, even to this day. It's something I'll forever do, regardless if cameras looking at me or cameras are not. It's not about that. It's about, service unto the Lord. And it's just something that I truly enjoy doing. So, that passion, you will, that drives you to be motivated, that thing that drives you to be motivated, those
Yes.
internal values and those internal goals. I talk a little bit about that. Then I go into empathy, the ability to understand the emotions of others. If you
Yes.
haven't gone through anything, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to understand. But
Yes.
if you truly have gone through some situations, these trials come to test us. They come to build our muscles. They don't always feel good, look good. But those testimonies, let me tell you, it's building our character, it's building
Oh,
our integrity, it's causing
whew.
us to be able to feel for others and have that empathy, which is very important. And I talk about that in the book. And then having those social skills. Skills used to manage relationships is very important. If you don't have social skills, you can't relate to people. How can you build a network, Dr. Joe? How can
You
you?
cannot. You
You
cannot.
cannot.
Oh,
You
I
cannot
just
build
got to
a
say,
network.
be a minister. Preach it, preach it, preach it. Woo!
You cannot. So all of these things work together. It works together. And then I talk about the importance of mental health. Now, I know that many of you out there, like myself, can be a workaholic. And I'm learning, Dr. Joe, even in the midst of all of this, that I have to back
Okay.
away from the computer, back away, take a step
Do your
back, and
self care,
I have to do that self-care, breathe in, breathe out. I'm getting
box
back into
breathing.
exercising and all of that because If you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? And then what good is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? So that's in so many different ways. You can gain the business, you can gain all these other things, but if you're not taking care of your health, you're not putting you priorities first, self-care is very important. How can you love? The Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if
If
you
you don't
ain't
love
loving
yourself,
yourself, you can't really love
love
nobody.
your neighbor.
So
Nobody.
getting
No.
getting back to the basics. I
Oof.
talk about that in this chapter. And I'm
Are you,
telling
I
you,
just got a question for you. Are you
yes,
excited about your chapter? I
I
kind
am
of got to
excited about
Are you a little excited about your chapter? Don't tell them
I am.
everything, but guess what? They got to buy the book and feed
They
the
gotta buy
children
the book.
because what you
Yes,
said about the test for the testimony and
yes.
but I want to just honor you with this one thing because your your action steps are just amazing. Okay, every author has a transformative practices for family, gratitude practices, emotional check-ins, encouraging independence. Spend this last minute and a half before our next commercial break just giving a little teaser on how you do those three, please.
Well, you have to have those check-ins. You have to. And those action steps are very, very important for us to be able to have that follow through. Um, just follow through with the initiatives of checking in and making sure your emotions are intact, making sure that you are taking care of yourself so that you can be able to have emotional, or should I say, be emotional healthy.
Yes.
Be
Yes.
emotional healthy is very important.
Helen Keller said, and my favorite quote on emotional health, he said, feel your emotions, never hold captive to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she was blind, couldn't hear, couldn't speak. I think she is a pretty good example of this. And talk about somebody who has done empathy from her empathic side. Dame Doria Cordova, she's been here many, many times. She was the mentee of the Buckminster Fuller. She's taken Money and You, our next sponsor, 45 years. There's one, she only does one a year in San Diego, January 15th to 18th. Be a part, most experiential thing to learn how to use money as leverage, how to attract money, to embrace money. And I can get you a really steep discount for those 4 days. Take a look and just take a listen to the Dame Doria Cordova, Money and You.
Money and You is the longest running entrepreneurial, experiential, transformational training in the world. And we have been impacting the lives of over 200,000 graduates from over 85 countries since 1979. I am Doria Cordova and I own Money and You. And I would like to invite you to join us to the next program where you will have an opportunity to be with a group of people that will all be immersed in experiential games where you have an opportunity to clear any blocks that you may have to really creating wealth and doing good. But at the same time, learn the business success model, which really immerses you into a conversation about leverage. Leverage is key in creating wealth and doing good. And we have the results to show that this program works. People like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's, and many others have attended this program and changed their lives and created new industry and are some of the most well-known change makers in the world. Thank you. Aloha. Bye-bye.
And I always love her aloha, but it's always a new beginning when you hear from Dame Doria. So join me January 15th to 18th. It is truly right now. You can get actually $1,000 off the entire seminar. It's for $24.95. My mom always said, that and worth every penny of it. My mom always said, "Why do you pay full price? A real woman gets it at a discount." It's through December 21st. So let's hop on through to your business school. Once again, she just clicked her fingers. She stroked her hat. Maybe I'm not sure. So, oh, I'm going to start a business school, and then it's a Trinity Business School, and then she has a grand total of hello. She has 3 of them, and that in and of itself is huge. But how did this just transpire and transform from the little girl who emotionally couldn't write, had a fear of writing, that you wrote about it, and that entrepreneurship, and that's probably all it took. But please share with our audience.
Well, let me just say, first of all, my mother was an educator. So pushing in education was a must. Regardless of how I felt, it was a must to push forward. The entrepreneur side, I'll say that it's always been there. I can remember being running for Miss Long Creek at the time, and it was based on us raising money in order to win this pageantry, right? So in the midst of this, I decided to get creative, and I popped all this popcorn and got on the bus, sold the popcorn, and didn't realize I was a change agent until 2 weeks later when they told me I could not sell any more popcorn on the bus. The school decided to buy a popcorn machine and start selling popcorn at the school. So that business ended
That was
rather
leverage. That was
right,
leverage. You used your entrepreneurial skills, as Dame Dory said,
right.
for leverage.
Right, exactly. So, moving forward, I've always wanted a school, and being in ministry, I started out with Trinity International University of Ambassadors, being that I was teaching marketing and business for Upper Iowa University and Hampton University at the time. I decided to start a TIUA School of Business that was separate from the university, just something where they could get a certification. We teach and show them how to do business online. So now today I've mirrored the two, but I'm also a chaplain. So with the Chaplaincy Institute, along with a few bishops and
Just a few.
pastors,
Just a few bishops.
right? We've come together for the chaplaincy side. So we have the Trinity International Chaplaincy Institute. Then there's the TIUA School of Business, and then there's Trinity International University of Ambassadors, Florida. So we're excited about what God is doing.
Well, and I will just say it's kind of little, but I'm going to post it on social media. There we are, because I was driving about, they couldn't see us. And I will say, when I don't know when, I remember my husband said, as we're sitting there for this beautiful ceremony, graduation, I didn't know what I was getting in, except I sent all this stuff in. The next thing, as my husband said, that plaque almost was bigger. That, you've seen it on my wall. You've seen everything. I posted everything about the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award again last time, because it was such a memory for my husband. And knowing that that was really our last trip together is that much more sweet. But when I look at that picture, it was love at first hug. So y'all, if you want to be of service to humanity, you want to do something online, you want to get a business degree, you want to do something in life, it's TIUA. Because I will tell you, when y'all, and my husband was very Presbyterian, not a bad thing. Okay, very Presbyterian Episcopalian. And I saw him over there as they were singing that Life alma mater hymn, and everybody was waving to TIUA. Here were Bob Bear's hands up in the air. I'm going, say
Wow.
what? That is pure passion on purpose with a purpose. I want to just say thank you for one of those just amazing times in my life. Who knew that? Well, see, my boys were born in Georgia. I got my PhD at Life University, Georgia, and getting the most honoring moment of my life in my just volunteering, just do what you do, was because of you, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. To God be the glory. Thank you.
And this ambassador thing that you kind of, when I was revving up the road, I thought I'm going to get here on time, and then it didn't happen because I put it out there. I will be here on time. There wasn't as much traffic close to Orlando. Beautiful thing. That word, you spoke words. You speak life when you open up, and that mic is there. Every time you spoke last year, it was a mic drop moment because it came from your heart.
Wow.
I mean, and you can be, I'm sorry, there's some kind of commencement thingies are a little like, okay, enough of this. There wasn't enough to go around of you and what you've created with your vision. Truly.
Wow. To God
So
be the glory.
yes. And we give him all the praise. And how did you find yourself as creating these ambassadors and being a part of this prestigious program? I want to hear the story.
Well, excuse me, let's see, this is 24. So over 10 years ago, I was introduced to the United Nations, the ambassador. I was working with another ministry with Dr. Finn. He had introduced me to it. I became an ambassador for Geneva, Switzerland. And during that time, I would go to Geneva, participate in meetings there. And I was thinking, wow, God, what are you doing? This was not on my radar, but it absolutely turned out to be the most amazing opportunity. I've had the opportunity to sit at tables with major heads of states, ministers, kings, queens, people that really make decisions. And so it was all orchestrated by God. I remember prophetically getting the word that it would happen, but at the time I'm thinking,
Oh,
this is not in my wheelhouse or it's not on my radar, but God knew. So here we are today. Our organization has been accredited with the UN since 2021. But again, prior to 2021, 2013, 2014, I was a part of it with another organization in which, the UN likes to see that you are very active with more organizations and involved. So been involved since
curse.
then, and I must say that it has truly been a blessing. I've been able to make connections, and to this day, we have our girls network, which is Trinity Girls Network. We have about 120 young ladies that we work with on a monthly basis there in Zambia, Africa. So I'm super excited about that. We are a registered NGO there in Zambia. So it's exciting. It has been an amazing ride, but I'm also excited about reaching the masses and letting them know about the opportunity that we have with the ambassadorship.
Well, and I think I misspoke because I said Zimbabwe, but we're going to get all the Z's over there. Zambia, Zimbabwe, and when you said that, there are no coincidences. I remember I hadn't even met you, hadn't even hugged you yet, okay?
Mhm.
And you went ahead and said about this Trinity Girls School. I'm going, this is my vision. So you see, when I met
Mhm.
Dr. Holden Clark, and I just told her she was going to mentor me. Took no, there was no way I was going to
Mhm.
take no for an answer because I knew in my heart, because it was that I needed healing for my son, and I just knew that I was going to bounce back and be this thing on purpose because I'm going to bounce back in this with him. And I said, as she was 70, I said, what if I'm the person that's going to take your message of health, healing, and hope long after you're gone. Knowing the iconic woman, not another natural healing practitioner of the 20th century comes to mind as a
Wow.
female her, because I knew that I was supposed to do that then. Now, me at 70, that's why you look back at our book. There are as many young people with Healthopedia. There are as many young women on our book here of transformation because they got healing. They trusted the process and transformation. And when I heard you speak about the Trinity girls, and you got a tear in your eye, it was just
Mhm.
touching. And all these 400 or 500 people in the room. It was large. And I knew this book was coming up. I said, she's got to be in the book. And I never let it
Wow.
go by. And I said, I know it's late, but do you think you can, Dr. Nefertina, can you just maybe talk to her? And look what happened. Here we are. See, if you have that peace, I want you to just, and then I want to just touch on this about that peace in your heart that you know you have a peace, P-I-E-C-E, is Serena Brown, and you have that peace that you need to do it. Give us give us one tip. How do you get through? I have this peace. I think I need to do it. Maybe I don't have peace, but I know I have joy and I can't get rid of that thing I must do.
You know, if you have that burning desire or that thing that keeps tugging at you, it's like you got to get it done, and it's a joy, it's a peace about it. I want to say to you today, push past whatever limitations, push past the fear, keep going
Yes.
until you see the finish line. Just like Nehemiah, he stayed on the wall until it was finished. You have to stay focused on the assignment, no matter what people say, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. You have to keep going until that burning desire, that drive, until it comes to fruition. You will reap if you don't faint. So keep going. And there is a peace in that thing once you're on the other side of it, because the enemy will send all types of blocks and stops to keep you from pushing. But keep pressing.
Press on with purpose just till you get that peace. That just really speaks to me what you just said. And now who knew? But our Heavenly Father knew 5 years ago when I hadn't written a lick. And I'm thinking, well, I guess Les asked me, they're doing this anthology thing. I always wanted to, well, I'd written my dissertation, but that's just different. And my pictures were horrible. I looked like I'm saying this in all due respect, darker than your skin tone. They didn't accept those pictures. She said, I'm in New York. I'm at the W Hotel. I could tell this photographer didn't know what he was doing. I said, let's go outside to Times Square. He took a picture. Now I'm dating myself, but I already told you I'm 70, going 71. I raised up my hands like Marlo Thomas. I said, I'm that girl. Here I am. And I said, I'm going to be on that board one day. February 3rd is that one day. Here we're going to be with the ambassadors of peace the next day, February 4th, with Princess, Her Royal Highness, Dr. Muradi and Ogallala, inviting us for the Ambassador of Peace Award. We're going to be there with our Healthopedia tribe and our Women's Essence tribe. When you were talking about your bucket list, you didn't even know it was there. One of our authors, Jerry Tucker, said, I guess it's on my bucket list. I just didn't see that piece in my bucket. So so when I just knew when you said yes, I'm going, she just says yes to everything. So what is the last, like I said, I can keep you here forever. The healing journey of trust and transformation. You are your transformation. You are that healing. You bounce back. You embrace resilience. You just embrace peace. You just embrace because you're you. And get the book, but check out your next place that you're going to be in this business, ministerial, humanitarian world. Check out trinitybusinessschool.org. What is your last piece of wonderful wonder wisdom from Wonder Woman herself?
I want to say to a young lady out there, to a woman out there, as we go through life, sometimes we put our dreams on the shelf.
Yes.
I want you to go back and pick up that dream. And I want you to dream bigger than you have ever dreamed before, because you can have it all. You can have the peace. You can have the joy. You can have it all. I want you to go back, pull it off that shelf, and I want you to run with it. Run with the vision this time. Write it down, and it shall come to pass. You will reap if you don't faint. So run with the vision. Take it off the shelf. Do it again. And this time it will be better, because you're not starting from the beginning. You're starting from experience. So keep going. I am your cheerleader in the back saying, go, 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 go. You
go, because you're going to go. I will see you again in New York City. We will woman it up with Tiffany Haddish, Dr. Khalila Camacho Ali, and the Princess Muradi and Ogallala, They will be there in Times Square. Be there, be square, be with us. Thank you for being the woman that you are. Let's go, go, go. And let's go to hear from peace, love, and joy. As I say, my goodness gracious, just thank you from the bottom of my grateful heart. There is joy. Thank you, Jacqueline. Wasn't that amazing? I told you, look up TIUA, the School of Business, what she does. So we want to take one last commercial break. There is hope with Hope Regeneration, our proud sponsor in 19 areas in the United States. Take a look, take a feel, take a listen.
Hope and restoration really are ingrained in us. We're designed. It's literally in our DNA. The ability to have the body heal and have the mind and the soul, all these things are important. But what I believe my path is, and the way that I help people with that process, is that I specialize in the physiological aspect. So for 20 years in my private practice as a board certified structural integrator, I thought I was helping people restore their bodies, but I realized I was helping them manage their decline. The restoration of families is significant. I can't tell you how many times I would have a mom in tears in my office because she couldn't get on the floor and play with her kids. I would have a dad who couldn't go on a hike or throw a ball with his son or his daughter. It's really, when you ask people, what's the biggest problem here? My back pain hurts. Okay, if you didn't have back pain, what would you do? Then we get the list of, my wife and I could go on a motorcycle ride. We could go camping. I could go play soccer with my son. I could, whatever it happens to be. Now we're in a situation where a person can receive these amazing infinity cells. The body can use those cells for what it knows it needs to do. Our clients are able to receive the most simple thing that I have ever seen in all of healthcare, and they're able to get their life back at a level that many people would say was impossible. And quite frankly, until 5 years ago, I would have also told you that was impossible because we never see it. And now we see it all over the country, hundreds of times a day, thousands of times a year. And now I've observed this process over 125,000 times. I just almost don't have words to know, after I've seen it so many times, what kind of hope people can get back in their lives. If we can help your body do what it's naturally designed to do, which is to regenerate and restore and heal, you can then begin to do so many other things that you didn't think you were ever going to be able to do. And that really is why, I'm so obsessed with what we're doing.
New Hope Regeneration. You've heard my story. I became pain-free. It is safe. It's natural. And when you say that you heard this and heard about New Hope Regeneration in 19 in places throughout the United States, you will get a Healthopedia discount. We just want you healthy now, don't we? And we want you healthy with money. Just make sure that you reach out to me, drjod.com. You know where to find me, 1-800-520-0854, or just go to my website and click the Contact Us button so you can get yourself in line on all 6 pillars of health: spiritual, then it becomes mental, emotional, physical, financial, and social. Well, I can just say, I'm going to say, Happy New Year. This has been quite a year. Dr. Jacqueline was the entire milkshake, all 31 flavors of Baskin-Robbins. She just exudes that out of herself. Just stay in touch with these authors. Just be a part of this book. Be a part of the Healthopedia movement. Make sure that you like us and you go to our Healthopedia channel on Facebook. Make sure that you go to our YouTube, like, subscribe, and share to Healthopedia 365 so you can hear this over and over and hear these amazing tips and of health, healing, and hope every single time. And of course, as we round off the year, I want to thank you for being a part and being a patron of our Healthopedia network on Traverse TV. I want to thank Denise and Trey and Tom Chesser as well for what they've given me this platform over these 2 years. Thank you from a grateful heart. So you can either go and be a part, give $1, give a lot, give a little, because it is allowed, just like PBS, sponsors like you to come and bring these particular broadcasts and these people to your present self. You can go ahead and go to paypal.me, Health Coach Jody. You're going to remember that Cash App, $Bear Money, or you can go to Venmo at Jody-Bear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But know that there's more in store in 2024. We said that there would be, but we would then, the next is 5. We will thrive in 2025. Join us again, and we will have our first broadcast on September 10th with none other than the one and only Dr. Mike Van Thielen, the man who actually brought my health and healing to fruition when they gave me the diagnosis of stage 4 cancer 25 years later, when he said, well, I'm not going to be 0-1. He was an Olympic swimmer and he was very competitive. And I am here 25 years later in healing and hope, and you can too. So join us on Monday, if you're watching this live, for Eric Zender, the quote master, quotation by education. He will be my final Mindset Monday on the 23rd of December. What a brilliant, brilliant mind this man is, and what he's bringing through Healthopedia Publishing to education by quotation. But in the meantime, just know that life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, and when you do, life will be oh so sweet. Choose health, choose healing, choose hope in all 6 pillars of life: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial, and it will be there socially. I want to thank Dr. Jacqueline from the bottom of my heart for just absolutely concluding this year of our broadcasts like none other. But when you surround yourself with people who are the best, they will feel you, you feel them, and the world goes around now, doesn't it? So as we say every single time in every single way, in honor of the women's essence, let's woman up, and you can woman up as you man up, men as well. But let's make this and every single day a great Healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.
Woman up, 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 pull it together. Where's the tough, 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 tough girl that you would go and get up? Time to get your ass back on track. Wake up, girl, you better. Woman up. Woman up.